Hey guys, today we'll try to understand two new functions in Lookup. So these two new functions are indirect and offset. These are pretty advanced functions which can be used in combination with other formulas to give you some results. So I'll show you how it works. We start with indirect. Indirect is basically helps you to get a cell reference specified by a string. So suppose I have a cell reference as B12 where I have Bob or Apple, which is H2. Now, if I have, so the formula goes this way is equal to, and I'll say indirect, yeah, I'll open brackets and I'll give you the cell reference. Cell referencing has to be provided in double quotes because it has to be a string. So for Apple, it was H2. So I'll give you H2 and I'll close the double quotes and I'll close the brackets as well. So it will give me Apple. You can see the cell reference, yes. So this is loop second row and H column, which is Apple. Yeah. So I'm giving the formula and absolute reference to a particular cell to give me the value. Yeah. So basically, when I say indirect, it has two notations to it. The first is the cell reference, and the second is an optional parameter which gives you an A1 notation. Now, the A1 notation either can be true or false because by default it is true where it indicates if the cell reference is an A1 notation or an R1 C1 notation. Yeah. Now, since we are giving it H2, which is called a A1 notation. Now, if I have to give the same cell reference, which is in R1 C1 notation, I would refer Apple as it is the column 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. So this is the eighth column and the second row. So for R1 C1 notation, I'll write the formula as is equal to indirect. I'll open the brackets. I'll give the R1 C1 value. So R1 is row. So I'll say row 2. As we said, as we have seen above, Apple is in second row. And it was in the column which is eighth column. Yeah. So I say C represents column, R represents row. So it is at second row and eighth column. I close the bracket and I have to give the notation as false. Yeah. Only if I specify false, it will give me the right answer. So I'll try to close this and try to see if it gives me right answer. No. It will say the indirect parameter is incorrect. So I need to give the optional parameter saying as false to use the R1 C1 notation. By default, it is true, which uses the normal parameter, which is A1 notation. So here it is. Same formula using the A1 notation, Apple, which references H2, which is a kind of A1 notation that we call, and Apple by way of rows and column referencing, which is R1 C1 notation. So this two types of notation you need to understand, but while using R1 C1 notation, you need to add false as an optional parameter to reference that particular cell. Yeah. So how do you use it? Now you'll ask me what is the use of indirect just to get the reference. So it's very straightforward. What I can do is I can suppose I have my quantity from I2 till I6, yeah, and I mention it over here as I2 to I6. This is how you reference a particular range, yeah. Now, if I have to do a sum, I'll say is equal to sum indirect, yes, and I'll reference to that cell, yes, and it will sum me the entire quantity, which is 120. You can see here the sum of the quantity is 120, which you can refer at the bottom, 120. Yes. So this is one of the use that I have experienced during my lot of analysis. Yeah. So you need to be very careful while using these indirect references, because at times these references point out to a different cell, and you the person who is trying to understand your formula may not find that referencing in a right way, or he may not understand. So this is where you need to take care about your cell referencing so that it gives you a right answers at any point of time. Yeah. I hope did you understood the cell referencing through indirect. Now let's move to offset. Now, offset formula is basically used to return a range reference which is specified by rows and columns. This specific offset formula is a bit complicated, where you need to understand the location of the cell reference that you have. Yeah. So suppose let us first explore the syntax. So offset will have is equal to offset. Yeah, I'll open the brackets. It will have the cell reference from where you want to. It is a starting point where you want to start counting your offset rows and columns. Yeah. So suppose I want to start referencing from the 101, which is the fruit ID. So that is G2. So I'll mention G2 is my starting point. Yeah. Offset by how many rows? Yeah. Offset rows. That means you need to specify the number of rows to shift by. Yeah. Now, if I put a negative number, it will move to the, yeah, it will move to the higher row or the previous row. But we do normally we do not use it. We normally use it to the positive ones, so that it moves on to the next row. But I'll show you the negative ones as well, how it can be used. Right now, let's start with a simple thing. So I'll say offset it by one row. So it will go down by one row, and also offset it to one column. So it will go by one column. So from it will come down one row, and it will come to the right, since we have a positive one, right of the offset reference that we have. So the cell reference, go to the right and down, or down one row and to the right by one column, that is banana. Yeah. And I from there, from banana, how many rows or how many cells you want. So height references the number of rows down. So if I say I want banana and lemon both, so I'll say 2. And I'll say I need the quantity as well. So I'll say 2 again. So it will take banana, lemon, and the quantity 20, 30 as well. So let's see if it gives me the right answer. Yes, you see this? So what it is doing. So let's understand this formula once again. Yeah. So I'm going to G2. Let me put it this way. Yeah. So I'm going to G2 here. I'm asking the formula to go one row below. So offset row. So it has gone to 103. I'm asking it to go one column at the right, which is offset column as per the formula. So it goes to banana. From here, I want 2 rows or 2 cells. Yeah, 2 cells, which is height. So height is this. Yeah, and width is this way. Yeah. So height is down the columns, and width is on the right side of the rows. Yeah, if I have a positive number over there. So 2, as I have specified, so it will take banana and lemon. And to the right, including banana and lemon as column, it will take the quantity as 20, 30. So let's try to experiment with this formula itself. I will make it move to the column row down 1. So it will take banana. I'll ask him to move to the second column. From second column, I need 2. So it will give me quantity and price. See this? Yes. So suppose I say go 3 rows down and give me 1 in height, 1 in width, and I want 2 columns on just 1 column. See, I am getting orange, which is 1, 1. Yes. So you need to be very careful by using offset formulas, because at times people tend to forget the numbering or the plus minuses of rows and columns that uh, happens during the calculations. Yeah. Now I'll ask you why it has been used for. I have nevertheless used it for a long time. But what you can do is, suppose as we did for indirect, I can also use this offset. Yeah, offset as a parameter. I'll open it. I'll say the cell reference. I use it for summing up. Yeah. I want to sum offset, yeah, for Apple. Yeah. So actual cell reference is 101, which is G2. I'll say comma. I will say I do not want to move any rows. I want to move 1 column, which will give me Apple. Yeah. And I want to get the height and all the quantity for all the fruits. Yeah. From there, I want to get all the quantity for all the fruits. So I'll say 1. Yeah. So not 1, the height should be 5, comma. I just want 1 bit. Yes. So it is giving me, sounded, yes. So it is giving me a wrong answer. Let me check. 1. Where is it taking offset G2, comma. I want the, oh, I have specified the wrong row. I need the same row. Column is not 1. The column is supposed to offset by 2 to get the quantity, and I should get 5. So here is my quantity total. So this is how you can use this formulas with various combinations or mix and match with other formulas to help you out. So I have given you a basic idea how offset can be used as such. Yeah. What does it mean, and what are the parameters inside the offset formula mean, which will help you to use this formula whenever you want. I hope you liked this uh, formula and probably use it for some of your advanced calculations. Thank you so much.